Hello, everybody, and welcome to Quality Sewing and Vacuums Tuesday. How do I? Today, we are going to be doing a really simple and easy project for Halloween. Halloween is just a few weeks away. And so I have a lot of kids, but there's a lot of people that need costumes at the last minute. I've got kids from 16 to 7. So I've got all different sizes. Today, the costumes that we're going to do will fit all sizes. We're going to do some capelets. Now, I purchased one and then I made one. And so you can see the difference between these. This is just a generic blue cape with white trim. This one would be good for either Elsa or Cinderella, which the Brother SDX 330D ScanNCut has those characters already in it because it's the Disney version. I'm going to be using all the characters and the embellishments that we're going to be doing on our capes today are coming right from this machine. I didn't have to download it or anything. It's already in there. Isn't that so exciting? I love simple and easy things that come together in a snap. Okay, like I said, this one was purchased. This one I made last night. I just used some simple costume satin. I bet you can't guess which Disney princess this is. You're right, it is Snow White. Okay, so we're gonna be doing some really fun things today. We're gonna start off with our Snow White. I already cut out one of our little pieces here just to kind of test it out to see the size. I wanted to display it first before because the original size of this little apple right here, this is actually Snow White's apple in the Cinderella part of it, and I'll show you that in just a second because we need to go in and retrieve it. So I wanted this little green leaf right here. I was like, I'm going to cut it out the size that I want, and I already weeded it. When you weed it, you take your little really sharp tool like this, and that means picking off all the vinyl that you don't want. Okay, so just what the vinyl that was left on this sticky part right here is the part that I do want. Now I am going to put Snow White's apple right here on this front part of the capelet. So it's really visible right here. And if you can see, I really liked that size. You can't really see it that well because it's green against the blue, but I like that size, and I'm going to set it there. Let's see. Let me look at this and make sure it is even on there. I'm going to set my mat aside right here. I'm going to peel that off just a little bit and reposition it right into place. And I'm actually going to take my iron and I'm going to iron it on right now. Okay, I want that. And then we're going to also iron or cut it out in red, the same exact size. I'm going to cut it out with this red vinyl, and then we're going to cut the leaf part off. So we just have the green leaf left right there. Now, you don't need a covering unless you're worried about your fabric itself. You don't need a covering for the vinyl because the sticky, plasticky part is kind of like a protectant as it is. Okay, let's iron this on. This is what I love about vinyl. It is so fast and so easy to do. My daughter, when she was in kindergarten, had to make a cape with 100 items on it. Have you ever had one of those that you had to do? It was so fast to just print out or to type in 100 little hearts on the ScanNCut and have them print them out and then iron them all on, all around the edges of her cape. Okay, let's give this, I'm going to fluff it and cool it down just a little bit. Let's see if this comes off nicely. Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that so fun? Look at that. Ooh, how cool. I'm going to stick that part over there. And there's our apple. Okay. Because I took this from like the teeny tiny 2 by 3 inch size to more like a 5 by 5 size. I saved it in my machine, but I'm going to show you where I found that first. Okay. We're going to move over here to the ScanNCut. And this is just the main menu screen that comes up. And we're going to go into patterns right here. And I'm going to click on Disney right there. Oh, look at Disney Princess. We're going to click on her. And we're going to come back and visit Cinderella here in just a second. But if you go down through all the different images, here's her apple right there. Ooh, it's actually smaller than I thought. It was 1.72 inches by 1.39 inches. Anyways, so this is where you come get the apple. But because I changed the size and I saved it, I'm going to go back to Retrieve Data. I saved it already, the big size that I needed. I'm going to go back, retrieve my data from my machine because I saved it in my machine. I'm going to go down through all my Wonder Woman funness. Oh, and there's my apple. Right there. It's the perfect size that I need. So I've already got my vinyl loaded on here. I'm going to put it in the machine. I'm going to load it up here. Okay, I'm going to press OK. Now, I also need a red ribbon because she has the beautiful black hair. That's why the hood is black here. And she had that big, beautiful red ribbon in her hair. And so we're going to be also cutting out a red ribbon for her hair. So I'll show you inside the machine where there is already a ribbon. I'm going to go to Add, Patterns that are already in the machine. I'm going to go to this one that has different shapes like a tree and the Eiffel Tower there. And this one has like clothes and a suitcase. I'm going to click on that. Oh, look, there's a little bow. I'm going to click on that. Now this bow has 3 different layers to it. So I'm going to press OK. Can you see how there's 1, 2, 3 different images in here? So it will cut out all these 3 images. So you can cut them out in different colors, but I don't want this bottom part right there. I don't need it. So I'm just going to click on the B and press OK. And ta-da, we have our bow. And so I already changed the size of it because this bow right here is almost 2 inches by 3 inches, which is not big enough for our hood that we have. So I'm going to go back. So that's where you find that bow. But I'm going to go back to my saves, or add, I should say. Pattern, retrieve data. Here we go. From my machine, because I saved it in there. I'm going to go down through all my saves. Oh, you can see where there was the 100 hearts. There it is. There is my bow. And then there's this little oblong, almost egg shape that goes in the middle of the bow as well. So I'm going to say, okay, that's what I want. But they're overlapped. I don't know if you can see that, but they're overlapped. So I'm going to go in and take my bow and I'm going to move it over. I'm going to move my little circle out of the way. That's the knot of the bow. I'm going to put that there. Where's a good spot for this so I don't waste vinyl? Waste not, want not, right? This vinyl is not cheap. I'm going to go right underneath there. Okay. And then I'm going to press OK. And now we're going to cut out the apple and the bow and the little knot that goes right on top of it. Are you ready? Okay. Now it asks me what I want to do. Cut, draw, emboss, foil. I want to cut right there. Now, what is important is when you're putting your vinyl down, that's iron on, you can see this top part right here is really dull looking. And the bottom of here is really shiny looking. Now, this is that plastic, that sticky plastic, and you want to make sure the really shiny part is down on your mat right here, and the dull side is up. And when you cut this, you only want to have a half cut right here. If it doesn't say on, you want to make sure that you go into your little wrench right there and go down to half cut and make sure that it is on. Otherwise, you'll cut all the way through your vinyl and the little sticky that transfers it onto your fabric. Okay, so we're good. We're on, and now let's start. And it's going to take 1 whole minute to do that, to cut that out. So while that's cutting, I'm going to go back over to, and like I said, this is just a cape right here. And I chose the different colors because I just did solid bright colors like the Disney princess in her colors. You can tell almost at a glance that, oh my goodness, that is Snow White, right? So you can do this with all the other princesses. Like if you wanted to do Aurora, you could do pink. If you wanted to do, I don't know, even Moana, you could do green, or Ariel. You could do purple and green. The sky is the limit, right? And there's actually all of those Disney princesses in here where you could easily make a cape and embellish it, and in a matter of like an hour, you will be a character, a costume. Okay, finished cutting. Ta-da! We're gonna let it out. We're gonna set this aside. Woohoo! This is such a beautiful new cutting mat. I'm going to set that right there. Now what I like to do is first I got to find it. Where'd it go? There it is. I like to cut out my little characters. We'll put that there. I like to cut out my little characters and designs first before I weed them out, because you don't waste as much vinyl. Like I said, this vinyl is not very cheap, but oh so fun to use and quick. I just made Spirit Day t-shirts for my girls too with my ScanNCut, and it was really easy. Okay, actually I'm going to cut apart. What did I do with my scissors? Oh, there they are. I'm going to cut apart the bow and the apple. And I've got my weeder right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at one of the ends. Oh, and let me tell you how satisfying this is. Whenever I'm sitting and weeding, my kids always come over and volunteer to help, because as my 7-year-old says, "Mom, this is so satisfying," which is so funny coming from a 7-year-old. Okay. All right. See how easy that just peels right off, right like that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to peel down the stem part, and I'm going to cut it off because I don't want that part there. Boop, and it's gone right there. And then I'm going to peel off the leaf because we already cut it out in green, and I want the leaf to be green. So I'm going to peel that down right there, and I cut it off. So now all we have is our beautiful red apple. I'm going to put the bow aside there. I'm going to make sure that your little peels of vinyl are put in the trash or far away from your ironing board area. Otherwise, they go on wherever they're ironed on, whether you want them to or not. So make sure you take care of those little scraps right there. Here's our green apple. And now I'm going to place our red apple right over the top. And because I have this beautiful clear things right like that, oh my goodness, look how cool that is. I'm going to grab my iron and iron it on really well. You really want to make sure that you get the edges all around your design, because those edges are the things that have a tendency to pull up and get forgotten. Sometimes I take the tip of my iron and just go all the way around the edge, any little tiny parts that I may be worried that aren't stuck down. All right, let's give it a go. I'm hoping that the iron didn't turn off there. It did. All right, so our iron decided to turn off all by itself. So while it is heating up, we're going to weed the bow. This one should go really fast. We're going to pick it out here. Come on. Get that going. Set that aside. A lot of times I'll try and tear. Doesn't want to tear. Tear the edges so you can get through those spots. Look at that. How cool is that? Whoop. There it goes. Okay, so here you can see, here's the main part of the bow, and then the little knot area that will go right in the middle. I'm going to separate those and only iron them on one at a time. We're going to set our bow, or not the bow, the knot. Oh, look at how bright and fun that is. We're going to try it out and see where a good place for that bow to go would be. Ooh, that looks pretty good right there. Just like that. Very Disney, right? Okay, let's bring our apple over here to the little ironing pad. Move my scissors out of the way so I don't lose them. Okay, it should be warm now. Oh, it's deciding to steam now. Hold on. I'm going to turn that steam right off. You should probably check your iron before you start ironing to make sure it's not steaming. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. There is her beautiful apple right there. Okay, so let's work on her. I'm going to undo this right here so I can lay this right on here and get a nice flat surface. Now you're probably wondering why the hood of my the hood of the cape is so shaped like this. It's because I have a teeny weeny bit of, it's a 1/4 inch wide boning in there, and that's what helps your hood keep its shape. If you would like to have me do a tutorial on how to add boning into your hood to keep it shaped so it doesn't just like collapse on your face, I will be glad to show you that. So leave a comment down below if you'd like to learn more about that. And another one. Okay. Yeah, I think I like it this way. I've got a line right through the middle, a seam line right through the middle of the hood here. Going to center that really well. Our steam is off. Now, I know a lot of kids and people like to wear, they like to dress up to go to Disneyland as well. And this would be an excellent way to inexpensively go to Disneyland and dress up like your favorite character. We're going to give that a little cooling down. Oh, look how cute that is. Okay, and here's the little knot button in the middle. We're going to put that right there. Actually, I'm going to take that same sticky clear, and I'm going to put it right over the top of the other one too, because that's going to protect the vinyl that's already there, right? Because I don't want vinyl stuck to the bottom of my iron. That's just no fun. Right? And then I'd have to do a tutorial on how to remove vinyl from the iron, right? Okay, that looks good. We're going to remove this one and let it cool for just a second. And this one. Ooh, look at how cute that is. And if you wanted to go back, I was even thinking what would be really fun is to either glue or sew on some sequins around all the edges here if you wanted to embellish it just a little bit more. But here we have our cute little bow right on the top. Okay, and let's go back to our apple for just a second because we're not done with the apple. Oh no, we are not done because she didn't eat just a regular old apple, did she? It was poisoned. So I went to just a craft shop and I found this glitterific lime neon glitter. It is so cool. It's so thick. It's almost like glue. I'm going to put a little bit in here. And we are going to drip some poison on our apple. Oh, how cool is that? Ho, ho, ho. Should we make a drip in the middle there? Yeah. Oh, that is cool. Okay. I might even put some on our poor little leaf that you can barely see. A little bit. Oh. This is not the easiest stuff to paint with. Big chunks of glitter. All right. Ooh, fun. Take a little bit more here. Oh. All right, well, I'll go in and add some more, but you get the idea of how to make a poisoned apple, right, like this. You could even print out some green. You could, oh, if I had thought about it, I could have cut the top of the apple out and left some of the green underneath and then put this over the top. There's all kinds of possibilities that you can do. Be super creative with your ScanNCut and what you've got. Okay. All right, well, you get the idea. We're going to set this aside. We're going to set our poison apple aside to let it dry while we work on our Cinderella. All right, I'm going to put the lid back on my neon glitter glue. Set that aside. Our poison apple. Whew, I'm throwing stuff all over the place. Okay, so let's go back. Actually, I'm going to show you what I already have printed out here. There she is. I knew that she was around down here somewhere. Okay, so my daughter wanted Cinderella, and that's what I printed out here. You can see I weeded out the middle, but I haven't weeded out the sides yet because I still, this Cinderella, it has 2 layers to it, and I couldn't decide which background I should have because the blue is so similar. I didn't want it to just kind of blend into the cape as it was. Go to all that effort and then you couldn't even see it. I'm going to reach up here and take it down. Right here. So I had an idea. I think I might use both of the blues. Okay. I'm going to put Cinderella right here. But she has a little, like a shadow box that goes around her. So I'm thinking what I will do is I will have this be the immediate shadow box around her, and then I can also put this little shadow box. I can widen the shadow box just a little bit and give it a little bit of a frame so it pops out just a little bit. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to come over to the ScanNCut and I'm going to show you how to get the shadow and then how to make a shadow for the shadow, if that makes any sense. Okay, stay up there. Okay, thank you. You guys did a great job. We're going to get rid of you now. We're going to go to my house and it says, okay to delete the patterns. Yes, we're all done with those. Okay, we're going to go back to our patterns right here. We're going to go to Disney and there's the princesses. And here is Cinderella. Now this Cinderella, I didn't change the sizes on. I just went with the sizes that was there. I thought the height of 7 inches by 3½ inches was just right to go on the front lapel of the cape. So I pressed OK. I have already done B, which is the outline of Cinderella right here. I've already done B, but now I need to do A. So I'm going to press on A right there, and there's her shadow. And the first shadow I want to do is this cool sparkly vinyl. We're going to set that aside and get my sheet out here. Now, sparkle vinyl is like no joke, folks. It is so thick, but so cool to work with. Okay, we've got it on there. We're going to load it in. We're going to press OK. I'm going to load it. And set. OK. Please select. We want to cut it out. And once again, you want to make sure that your half cut is on when you are doing the iron-on vinyl. We're going to tell it to start. It's going to take us maybe a whole minute to do that. Okay, so while it's thinking about that, shall we weed the rest of the Cinderella? It's so fun. That's my favorite part. If I can see the lines, there they are. It's like the big reveal. Oh, here she comes, you guys. Look at that. Aw, how cute. And just like that, that one is done. Our sparkle blue is done. We've weeded Cinderella. How pretty. Okay. We're going to remove this. Oh, that is such a fresh board there. That is awesome. And we're going to cut her shadow out. And definitely the less weeding you have to do, the better. We're done with the sparkles, so we're going to set that aside. I'm going to get my little hook again. And we're going to weed the outside off. Ooh, that was fast. Look at that. Woohoo. Oh, how sweet. That is going to look really, really cool with the super sparkles. Okay, so how do I get the shadow to also have a shadow? So let's go into the shadow again, because we have to do that in layers. I'm going to select finish. Okay, so I've got my shadow here, and I'm going to go back, do the little arrow back, and I'm going to edit my shadow. Object edit, and I'm going to give it a 10 millimeter seam allowance. Let's see. What I wanted to do is not giving me the option to do. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, maybe we're not going to do that because it's not giving us the option to do that. All right, well, what we can do is make it just a little bit bigger. It's not going to work as great by making it bigger. Usually you want to give it a seam allowance, which moves it out, but for some reason it doesn't want us to do that. So we're just going to make it a little bit bigger, which will work too. I guess I should have checked that. I just figured that it would always work, right? It's just always going to work to my whim, right? Okay, so I just made it a little bit bigger than it was last time. Okay, so now, and we'll see if this works. I'm going to load in, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, because this piece of vinyl is so big. I'm just going to cut this out a little bit so I don't have to deal with all of this vinyl. Woohoo! Once again, make sure you don't throw your designs around. Make sure the shiny side is going down. We're going to put that right in the corner there. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. Ooh, it's so sticky. It just keeps sticking. Okay, that will work. I'm going to reach down and get my design right there. All right. We're going to load it in. It's going to take us just a couple seconds to do. Okay, please select. We want to cut it. Oh, we have to load. It really helps if you load your mat before you cut. The machine really likes it if you load it first. Okay, we're going to give it a start. All right, well, that is thinking about it. We are going to get out our little cape right here. And here is the little tassels where you can tie it. And we will be adding Cinderella right onto the front here, right where it ties right in the front. So we will set that aside. Ooh, that was fast. The reason why I have this tape out here is because sometimes when our mats get really used and really loved on, they're not as sticky, even when you wash them and then spray them with a little 504. Sometimes if you're using like the really stiff vinyl, like sparkle vinyl, it really, the corners really like to curl. And so I have out the Kimberbell paper tape, and I really like to use that on the corners of my vinyl that I'm cutting if my mat is a little loved on. So just keep that in mind when you're doing that. Okay, we're going to exit out of there and take it off. Woohoo! I'm going to set that aside. Let's see if this worked. Where's my lines? They are right here. If not, I guess I'll just have to do another Cinderella and put it on like a t-shirt. I'm sure my daughter won't mind at all. If it didn't work the way I'd hoped it would. Here she comes. All right. All right. There she is. And I think it might have worked. So we have the dark layer right here. So it didn't work the way I had hoped it would. Is this good, Carrie? Sorry, these are guys. Let's see if we can make these guys work for us. They just want to stick to each other and not cooperate. So I have my dark layer here, and it did turn out pretty much the same size as the original one. So what I'm going to do, so it still has that shadow effect, is I'm going to shadow the shadow by just doing it off center, just a little bit, like that. And it still works. It still gets the shadow effect. Okay, so we're going to put on the dark blue first. Make sure my iron is not deciding it wants to shut off right now, right as we're working on with it. Okay, and I'm making sure I'm patting my fabric because it's got the underlining there. I want to make sure that it is nice and flat and I'm not ironing wrinkles into the vinyl, into the fabric. Okay. All right. There's our first darker blue. We're going to set it into our little stretch velvet here. One thing that I love about art and creating things is when you make an original, you don't have to worry about copying anybody else or doing it perfect, because if something doesn't work quite as well as you had hoped it would, but you're still able to, you know, have some creative liberties like we are doing right now. Ooh, this corner did not quite go down as well as I had hoped it would. Hold on. I'm going to take some of the other part of the cloak and just kind of press it down to cool it and to pull out the heat from that. Because when it cools is when it really sticks well. Let's see now. Let me test it. No, I still need to get this little corner right here. So I'm just going to take the tip of my iron and kind of seal in that edge right there. Help to grab some of that heat out of there. Did work. Here we go. Here's the first one. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now we're going to do the second color, the sparkle blue, and we're going to put it off center from the original. Right there to kind of give it the shadow effect, like that. Iron it down again. Now the sparkle vinyl is really thick, and so you got to give it a little extra love and a little extra time. But it is so cool to work with. And it looks so cool. I did sparkle vinyl on the t-shirts for my daughters for the year they graduate from their t-shirts. And they loved it. It was super, super cool. It does take a little extra love though to make sure it sticks because it's so thick. Ha ha ha. Look how cool that is. That's coming out so good. Look at that. And now for Cinderella herself. having this sticky vinyl on the top is just so nice. Clear sticky vinyl, so you can get it exactly where it needs to be. Look at how pretty. Oh, my 7-year-old is going to be over the moon excited. She's got Cinderella and sparkles and all. And now she has a good costume. Here, especially here in the Northwest, it gets really cold for October. And so having those really cute little costumes doesn't always work because you've got a coat on over the top of it. But if you make a cloak like this or Snow White, they can wear their fleecy jammies underneath and you throw a cloak over the top and voila, they are automatically in their character, right? You could even do this for little boys as well, or big boys too. The sky is the limit, you know. Look at that. There we go. We have our Cinderella cape. Ta-da! And there are, look at how beautiful that is with all of our sparkles and everything. And it really identifies this cape as being Cinderella, right? For just a few dollars and like a couple of minutes, right? So thank you for joining me today for making a Cinderella and a Snow White cape. Ooh, look at our poison apple. It turned out really, really cool. I think when I get home, I think I might put some puffy paint or sew on some sparkles all the way around there to really jazz up that bow a little bit. But thank you for joining me. I can't wait to see what you guys create, or if you feel inspired by this. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like to know how to add in the tiny boning into the top of the cloak. I would try it on, but I don't want to get that glue on me, but you can see how the hood keeps its shape. Anyways, have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you next week.